Everybody, I'm back. So today I'm starting a new project because who doesn't love having 50 bajillion projects going on that you never finish? So today I'm starting this. I was sent this cross-stitch for either Christmas or my birthday. I'm not sure, but it's an eagle. And I guess it'd be my grandfather-in-law, my husband's grandfather. He loves eagles. And he sent me another one and I started and I went to work on it today and I have no idea where it is. So I'm going to start this one. It's a lot larger and I'm going to flip around and show you all this stuff that it comes up with. This is the full kit. It has everything you need except for a hoop and scissors, and I like to have extra needles just because I lose them all the time. So I've got, this is what it's going to look like. And then it has, this is very large, so it comes with 1/2 of a pattern and then a second half. And the pattern is on here. See, it's very large. So this is 1/2 of the pattern. And this is the second half of the pattern. And then there are 2 bundles of color. So this is one of the bundles. And this is the other. And then this is really neat because the background is black. And I got something on it already. But most of the cross stitches I've done have had white for the background. I can't think of what this stuff is called. It's called Aida. So this is the fabric that you use to actually do your cross stitching on. You can see it has little holes in it. So those are all my things, and I'm going to figure out what you always start in the center of the cross stitch, so I got to figure out what color I'm going to start with and go from there. So I was looking at my fabric and I realized it actually wasn't centered, so I went ahead and refolded it. You can see there's like a crease over here. That's where it was folded in the packaging, and I had to go through and refold it so I could get my center. So I don't want to put a piece of thread in because I don't want to have to take it out, so I just stuck an earring right there for my center. My hoop, it's pink and pretty. It says 6 on it. I think it means it has a 6-inch diameter. I don't know. I'm not a professional. So this is one piece of it, and this is the other. The piece that does not have the adjustable part is going to go underneath. And then I'm going to take this piece and push it down over it. And I don't have my tripod, so I'll be back after I've done that. So it's on and centered. Now I'm going to look at my pattern, and I think I'm going to do the left side first. I don't know which side you're supposed to do first. So most of the time the instructions will tell you, other than start in the center, which way to go. This one did not. So we're going to start with the left side. And the center point isn't even marked on here, so I have to figure that out myself too, which is interesting. This is the center right here. This is the center going vertically. Oh, there we go. It was over here. I'm just not paying close enough attention. So I need to start with, oh my, focus. Bad camera. My camera does not like all those little squares. There we go. So I need to start with the square. And the square, if you come over to your instructions, is black with 2 threads, and it's a cross stitch. So on this pattern there are cross stitches, and then there are half stitches, and then this is lines, and then this is going to be a French knot. But for now, I need black and I need 2 strands. Cut my string in half, and I have 2 strands. And normally, and I'm sure it came with this, they come with your own tapestry needles. And I've already lost it, so I'm going to go ahead and open up my pack that I got to go with it, because I knew that I would lose them. So I'm going to go ahead and open this one up and thread my needle. When you do cross stitching, you do not put a knot in, so I'll show you how it's going to look. See, I've got my needle and my thread, and there's no knot on either end because there will be no knots. So I'm going to go ahead and place my first stitch. You start in the back and go up through. So let's see. Maybe I'll have Jack hold the camera for me. So, I'm going to take out the flower and replace it with my needle. I have bad lighting in here. I should have turned on the lights. Actually, I might have to have Jack turn on the lights. So I have it in. Here, let me see this for a second. I'm going to have Jack turn on the light. Can you turn on the light? Here, Jack, come back. I need you to hold this for 1 second. So I need to do 6 stitches in black. So, on this side, I'm going to pull this through almost all the way. And I'm going to hold it with my finger. And I'm going to come back and go across. Now on this side, I'm going to go, it's hard to see because it's black on black, but I'm going to go back over the end of my thread. And can you get in close, Jackie? See how it's going to go back over that thread, and that's going to prevent me from pulling it through. So I'm going to go do a couple more stitches. And again, oops, yeah. And again, I'm going to go on top of that thread. So I can see, man, it's really hard to see black on black. And that way, it's going to trap that thread underneath, and I won't end up pulling out the thread through. And one more time. Can you see that? And so my little thread here is now trapped under all these other threads. And it also makes it nice and flat behind here. You don't have a bunch of knots over it. Okay, I'll come back and I'll go do the cross on the other side. Okay, so I've got my 6 stitches here. So now I need to go back through and do the cross part. And all you do is just cross it over to the top of the square. If I can see it. Sorry, it's very, this is the worst color to be doing, black and black. I'm gonna have to go through when I have a different color and show again. So I'm just crossing back over and going to the bottom and crossing over. And I'm like sitting here hoping I'm actually doing the right stitches, because it's so hard to see black on black. This is going to be one of the more complicated cross stitches I've done just because of the black on black. The brighter colors won't be so bad, but black on black is just rough. Okay. And that's it for this, and then I'm going to move up a row. And then I'll come back, I think, when I have a different color, because this is so hard to see. So I'm up to a place, my cross stitching, where I don't have enough space to really make any more stitches. And you're like, well, now what are you going to do? Because we don't do any knots in cross stitching. So I'm going to take my needle and go underneath the stitches that I've gone through before. Sorry. Hard to see where there's a stitch. And pull through. And so you have this nice little, ooh, my camera does not like this at all. And then I'm going to trim this little edge off. And then I'm going to keep going because I still have more black to do. Because apparently this whole thing is going to be black on black. Because the eagle is black, so if I ever come to another color, I'll show you some stuff. There you go. Okay. Hi. So there was one other thing I wanted to show. Julie put it down here. So what I do when I'm cross stitching is I have one hand and I put underneath and the other on top. That way I don't have to keep, hold on a second. I gotta see what I'm actually doing. That would be great. Okay. So this way, if you keep one hand underneath and one on top, you're not moving your hands back and forth. Because look, if I do it this way, I'm not moving around a lot. Except that I'm having trouble finding my place, which I would anyways. So you can kind of see I'm not having to move a lot. compared to if every time, like if I was just doing one hand, I would have to take this down and then bring it under here and then push it through. This is weird doing it left-handed. I'm just so used to doing it the other way. Okay, so then you'd push it through and bring it up. Then you have to put your hand back underneath. And you just keep doing it that way. And this just takes more time than having one hand underneath and one on top. You can press stop.
What?
That was it. Thanks. So I'm ready to move on to my second color. So before I started that, I did two things. I moved down where my fabric was so that I would have more area where I could cross stitch, and then I organized my colors just to make it easier for me. Originally started and I was over here, so my center was here and I was starting to run out of, I was getting close to this edge. So what I did is I just slid it all down over here so I'll be able to work this space and it'll give me just more space to work on. I also organized my string by color. If you look, I've got gold, brown, pale brown, brown, and then pale warm gray, light warm gray, and black, which is easy. But these three and these three sometimes get confusing about which ones I need to grab if I don't have them all together. So I went ahead and just tied little loops and labeled them. I used, these are actually stitch holders for when you are knitting or crocheting, but they have little needles on the point, so they work. And each thing has its own little label, and it just makes it easy. So like if I need pale brown, there it is, really easy. You know, one came open, and I'm gonna have to figure out which one that is. So that's not so fun. Okay, so we're all back.
Mommy,
they're all connected again. But either way, it'll still make it easier for me. So the next color I'm going to work with, this is light warm gray, and this symbol means that it's a half cross stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that. So starting out the new section, instead of sewing over, what I'm going to do is thread in underneath some that have already been done, like 3 or 4. I'm going to start sewing though over here, and that's going to create kind of like a, almost like a knot that'll stop it. See? The other thing to pay attention to is I want all my stitches to be going in the same direction. It just makes it look more uniform. So normally when I start a stitch, I go left to right, but all my I go right to left. All my starting stitches are right to left, and all my finishing stitches are left to right. So if I'm doing a half cross stitch, I want all the stitches to be going towards the right. So I'm going to do a few of those, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So I've gone ahead and put a bunch of the half stitches in so you can kind of see what they look like. The other thing to pay important attention to, like I said before, is how many threads you have of each one. So in this case I needed 3, and luckily I was paying attention and did 3, because sometimes I don't, and it's just a pain. If you get it wrong, it doesn't look as good, and it's just annoying. So this is what the front looks like so far, and then this is what my back looks like. I try to keep it as neat as possible. You can see the half stitching, there's more spacing in between, so it's not gonna look as nice. Why I do it compared to like the regular cross stitch, it's just filled all the way across almost and looks pretty good. And then this is, I'm still working this thread, so it isn't tied off yet. It's not gonna stay like this. So that's about it for now. I'm just gonna keep plugging away and see where I get.